Have you ever had this feeling that you read, watch, or listen to an English word or something, and then you feel like, I learned something new, but just few days or weeks later, you realize, oh crap, I can't use or recall what I learned. I used to be like that. I wasted so much time on studying new English words, idioms, expressions, which ended up forgetting them. But I never accepted this problem. I always tried to find a way to learn and memorize English words. So in this process, based on some studies, I found a way that made me to learn and memorize English words so fast. And today, I'm going to share all that with you. So let's get straight into it. All right, there are only two components of learning: understanding and memorizing. So understanding plus memorizing equals learning forever, equals not forgetting English words, idioms, expressions, you name it. Isn't that great? So this one formula, or these two components, are very crucial. They help me so much. The two components that not lots of people know them, not lots of people do them in the right way. So when they catch me in this level, they're like, oh, you're so lucky, you're so fast at learning new English words and memorizing them. But this is not true. I just kept doing these two components that they don't do in the right way. And I'm going to talk about how to do these two things in the right way in turn. Let's first talk about understanding. What defines understanding? You might say something like, when I study something like an English word and it makes sense to me, it means understanding. But how many times you felt that way and then started asking yourself, oh, how should I use it? Or how should I put it in a context? So this is not understanding. This is understanding. We know we understand something if we can completely explain it to someone else. Like when we study an English word or an idiom or whatever, and then we feel like we're able to teach it to someone, then we know we fully understand it. So when you learn something, to see if you really understand it, ask yourself the key question: can I teach it to someone? For example, you see the word revenge in a context.
It's actually Robin's ghost. She wants revenge, I think.
It makes sense to you at the moment. But to see if you really, truly understand it, ask yourself, can I teach it to someone? And test yourself on it. Ask yourself these 4 following questions. What just I learned? I learned the word revenge. Cool. What its actual meaning? Well, it's kind of difficult to explain it. I know its meaning in the context, but okay, let me look it up. See, having the mindset that you're going to teach something that you've just learned makes you to learn something in much deeper level. So you looked it up and you learned that it means to harm someone as a punishment. Perfect. Next, can I make my own sentences with it? Let me see. She revenged her boyfriend because he cheated on her? I'm not sure. Let me look it up. Can you see? Teaching reveals some gaps on our knowledge that we were not aware of it. Now that we're aware of this fact, we are working on it. So you looked it up and you learned how to put it in a context. So now you say, she took revenge on her boyfriend for cheating. Can you see how much it's different from the first sentence that you made? And the last question, how should I pronounce it? Oh my God. I guess it's revenge. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me look it up. And then you learn it's revenge. Testing yourself on something that you're learning boosts your understanding and fills in any gaps in your understanding. And this is absolutely right. When I, a few years ago, started helping my friend with her English, basically teaching her some English stuff that I knew very well, I would get tongue-tied when I tried to explain something that I thought I was very good at. I realized that, oh my God, there were a lot that I didn't know. And this is the interesting thing about teaching technique. When we demonstrate our knowledge outside our head, we realize that we know a lot less than we thought. And now that we're aware of this fact, that we've found some gaps in our knowledge, we work on those gaps and we can understand something fully. And guess what? When we fully understand something, we're better able to remember the thing forever. But we are not done yet. We're halfway through. So now we have the second component, memorizing. When we learn something new, like an English word, if we don't use or review that thing, we forget it over time, for sure. And this is called the forgetting curve. So it means even if we understand something very well to the point of being able to teach it to someone, if we don't make an attempt to review that knowledge, as hours, days, weeks go by, we remember less and less of it. And eventually, we'll end up forgetting it completely. The other day, I just happened to look at my notes that I used to take when I was learning English. There was a word, it was umbilical cord. It was highlighted. But when I actually saw it, I didn't know what the meaning of the word was. Basically, sometime in the past, I wrote it down, I highlighted it, and even I made my own sentences with it. But I failed. I failed because I just wrote it down and left it there. I didn't interrupt the forgetting curve. So to interrupt the forgetting curve, we need spaced repetition. What does it mean? It means repeatedly reviewing your information spread out across multiple sessions. Basically, 5 to 6 sessions. So try to do this. The first repetition should be right after learning it. Repeat the material after 4 to 5 hours. Third repetition should be only after 1 day. The next one is after 1 to 2 weeks. And the final one is after a month. This way, you can memorize for a very long time. Can you see what we're doing here? We're reviewing our information before we forget it completely. We're not letting our ability to retain the information to plummet. Reviewing what you've just learned over and over repeatedly makes you to remember the thing forever, because it resets the forgetting curve, so you are back at 100% retention every session that you review that thing. So after 5 or 6 sessions of reviewing, your brain will be like, the information seems to be very important. Let's store them in the long-term memory. And boom, you get the information stuck in your head forever. Something else that I'd recommend doing too, watch English movies or listen to something in English. And actually, this is a fun way to review your information, isn't it? I love watching movies. Actually, watching movies contributed to my success and my ability to build vocabulary and review my information, because people, characters in movies use dozens of English words. Idioms, expressions, you name it. So being exposed to English language in this way makes you to pick up on some new English words that native speakers use all the time, and makes you to review your knowledge, to review some words that you might have heard or read before. So just try to immerse yourself in English language. So that's it for today's video. I hope that it was really helpful. If you were interested in this video, you might be interested in this video as well, where I talked about my experience that I would understand English, but I couldn't speak English. And I actually shared 4 reasons why that happens. If you made it so far, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye!